What's up, everybody? It's the Golden Facts Podcast with Gold.
And Facts.
And today we're going to be doing Purple Rain.
The epic 80s. I mean, it's not a comedy, but it is hilarious. I mean, I guess it would be more under the lines of drama. But I mean, it's
comedy.
It's a drama. I mean, but you wouldn't classify. I mean, it wouldn't classify itself as that, but it is hilarious for nonetheless. But I mean, if you've never seen Purple Rain, it's a great 80s flick. It's about Prince, who goes by the name of The Kid, in his Minneapolis. He's a Minneapolis musician on his rise with his band, The Revolution, escaping the tumultuous life of home life and music while trying to avoid making the same mistakes his father did. Kid navigates the club scene in his rocky relationship with a singer, Apollonia. But another musician, Morris, looks to steal the kid's spotlight and his girl.
Bastard Morris.
I love Morris. Everybody needs to have a rival like Morris in their life to help better them and make them reach their goals in life.
I was more a Jerome guy.
Jerome. I mean, everyone needs a Jerome also.
Yeah, I just need somebody to hold up a mirror to me every now and then.
Oh man, I just need somebody like when I get mad.
Get the dirt off my shoulder every now and then.
Or when I get mad at a chick to just throw her away.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw a bitch in the garbage.
You know, that was the first time I ever seen somebody get body slammed into a garbage can.
Yeah.
That was right after you make sure you treat all women with respect and you be kind, and it's just like, but there's some real trash women out there too that sometimes you need a friend to just pick her up and body slam her into a garbage can.
Yep. Yeah. And then she gets the point after that. She's like, oh, I guess he does not like me.
Yeah, she didn't come around again after doing that, I have to say.
Didn't see her the whole movie. She auditioned for that too. Like, she probably waited in line, probably beat out 50 other girls to get thrown in the garbage can.
She was like, you
never
really
see from ever again.
She was like, you mean that Jerome's going to throw me in the garbage? Yeah, he's going to suplex you into a dumpster. Yeah. She's like, all right, cool. So the movie starts off with Prince just, just performing. Let's Go Crazy Live in front of a packed house in Minneapolis.
At First Ave, which is still there.
And that shows you how epic that place is. And it's just really him doing a spot with, them all trying to make it, like all young musicians trying to make it coming up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And
twister, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Every time I say it, I get just stuck. But even you were telling me before that they originally wanted to shoot it in Los Angeles.
Yeah, they wanted to make it like he was from L.A. and he refused, and he held out until they finally gave in because he was such a big star back then, and they wanted to do the film that they did it in Minnesota. I'd rather say Minnesota than Minneapolis.
You're right, yeah. I guess I'm just going to go Minnesota from now on.
But they filmed it in his hometown, and he had a lot of the local people that he came up with on the scene, like Morris Day. Luckily, when they found Morris Day, they didn't realize he was a star himself, especially in this movie. Like they brought him in, and he was the comedy in the movie.
I mean, I don't even know if they knew that he was that charismatic.
Yeah.
And that he would come across just, his whole swag is just crazy. I love Morris. Yeah. Love Morris. He knew how to captivate, get the crowd's attention. You know what I mean? You couldn't tell him that he wasn't a star.
Great dresser, too.
I mean, phenomenal dresser.
His outfits hold up. Some of these outfits, you could, Bruno Mars might have taken a lot from Morris Day. I don't know.
I want to call it a zoot suit, but I don't think that's what it is.
Nah,
it's
that's style. That's pizzazz.
Because even at the beginning of the movie, he has on this yellow number with the tiger stripe vest down. Oh my god! Yeah. Not to mention, everybody had that hair too. That eventually now they're probably bald. It's like if you had that type of Jerry curl at that time, you're bald headed today.
He has hair.
No, Morris didn't. Morris had a perm. He just had, but no juice.
Yeah.
He didn't have to oil that up. That was no juice in that perm.
Yeah. Nice dry.
Nice dry.
It's like a 1960s little bop.
Right. But when you have that mixed hair, you know what I mean? I wonder what he was. There's not just like
freckle faced.
Right. So I figured some type of Irish. I'm thinking Irish mom and black dad is what I see.
This is the movie that let everybody know that there were black people in Minnesota, and there was a popping scene.
Yes, it was.
A popping music scene out there.
Apparently, because they had a lot, but it was all those. All in the same genre of like that metrosexual,
aren't Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis from up there too?
I believe so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were in a band as well.
But the kid, aka Prince, is a heartthrob in this. But it's funny how they protect him from like other women coming up to him and just approaching him all the time.
Yeah.
He really just breezes by. He really has like this look where he just goes 1,000 yard stare, walks by everyone, and just makes eye contact with who he wants to talk to. Crazy.
Yeah. And then he just stands behind people with glasses on. Oh, we didn't even talk about Apollonia just coming into the city hot, just pulling up in a taxi. She has like $50 on her in her purse.
Hops it.
She looks at the meter and sees that it's 37. She's like, yeah, you're gonna have to eat this pal. Gets out, rents a room, comes out the same night and goes to the most popping club. How'd she get in? Was there a cover? Oh no, a fight broke out. She snuck in there too. So she's committed 2 crimes and the bitch has been in town 30 minutes.
And then once she gets into the club, knocks over the waitress's full tray of drinks.
And asks for a fucking job.
The nerve.
Yeah.
The nerve of Apollonia.
Came in hot.
Oh man, and I love how when I looked her up, she really, that was her name, Apollonia. Like you said, one name like Madonna. Crazy.
Some people's parents just know they're a little special.
Did she ever really pop off?
Nah, she got religious, I think.
Yeah. Like what, after this?
Like a little bit after, yeah. Once you hang out with Prince and live that lifestyle, you start wanting to seek God.
I bet Prince probably had a taste. He probably took. I mean, you'd assume.
Come on.
You assume anyone that was
dog without a bag. He was all up in his guts.
You assume anybody who was on the set that was halfway decent looking. He took a ride. Yeah.
All 5'3" of him. He was.
Well, with heels 5'5". In heels 5'5".
Pound for pound, the baddest purple one around.
I mean, Prince, to me, best guitarist I've seen in my lifetime. Also,
yeah, it was like a extension of his body. It was connected to him the way he
effortless.
That thing. Yeah,
and you can tell them even in some of the numbers they do on it. He messes up a little bit here and there. Just hits the wrong key. They don't edit it out. He just plays straight through. Like that's him actually performing like live.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wild. But I love how they did it as far as, Morris Day is the obvious villain. Prince, they give you the love-hate relationship with Prince because not everything he does is, he's not like somebody who's down in the gutter trying to work his way up. He already has potential fame and he's just screwing it up.
He's local famous.
Right, he's local famous and he's just kind of like...
He's bringing all his personal stuff into the bar and... They just want him to... Basically, they want him to play the hits. He wants to play the B-sides. He wants to play the stuff he's working on, the artsy stuff and experimental stuff, and they want the hits.
I mean, when you go to a Billy Joel concert, you want to hear, you want to hear the hits. You don't want to hear the album they came out with in 2019. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we got a new album out, and we're going to play a few songs for you. Nobody knows them.
Nah.
But I like that...
Apollonia's supposed to be 19 in this movie, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Just said that on the movie.
What's
the card that she comes in with?
Oh, right.
18 years old, 5'6".
How old is he supposed to be in this?
I guess he's supposed to be around the same, a little older.
Oh, yeah, right, just like in his 20s, I guess. Like, cause I never really seen.
When he first got discovered, his first album came out when he was like 20, I believe.
Okay, so this was he was right now. He's probably like 25.
Yeah.
Because he already, I mean, you can see his swag and is just how he carries himself. You can tell this is every day for him.
Yeah. It takes a while to get dressed and do that hair.
I mean, with 5 scarves
and
a leather.
He had his mustache lined up in 1984.
With a razor.
He had a Dominican barber in 2019.
Oh, yeah. With a straight razor and a hot shave.
Yeah. Everybody else's mustaches looking sloppy and like Tom Selleck. Nope, not Prince.
Because Morris went with the thick handlebar. Almost, he kind of had the thick handlebar mustache. But Jerome, clean as a whistle, he pretty much has a Today haircut. I love how they just, the way, I mean, you told me before that Morris and Jerome were best friends in real life.
Yeah.
And this was like, it's funny how in the 80s we talked about it with Coming to America, how you would just take your friends along. Like you had a funny friend and then you would,
that's the way it should be.
You give him a part.
Put your boys on. They were with you when you were starving, now it's time to eat together.
Because their chemistry, you could tell, it's not like there's two guys that just met each other. It's like, wow, you guys feed off each other. But everybody needs a Jerome in their life, a guy who will do anything for you. Yeah. And like not feel any type of way about it.
Ultimate stage wingman right there.
Jesus.
They were on stage, he's just, holding the mirror,
He's
making
second.
him stay proper, but he's also playing the one drum. At the
Also
same time.
playing the one drum.
That shit was probably empty. He probably wasn't even doing
Yeah, I
anything.
highly doubt that was actually making a sound
There
for
was no
some reason.
mic. There was no mic next
Right,
to it.
exactly.
He's just up there for the showmanship.
Shit, his showmanship. I mean, his loyalty is second to like Spliff Star. From with what was that Bus Rhymes group?
Think it's a new school.
No, when
Flip Mode Squad.
Flip Mode Squad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Spliff Star was his hype man, and
Yeah.
Flip Mode. So he second to that type of loyalty.
Yeah,
But
Spliff
Prince.
Star was a great hype man.
No, great. I was just saying, great hype, man, as is Jerome. You know what I mean? Like the perfect, wing dude. Yeah.
I never noticed how he had the sign, like a little like male, female sign on the bike.
I didn't notice it
On the
either.
corner of the bike when he was pulling up.
Okay, oh yeah, let's take a look
He's
at
an
that.
interesting guy, man. I wonder like how Prince came up with his look. Like I know that look, he had there's similar looks around that time, but he had his own little look that he came up with. He said,
Right.
He said, I'm rocking with purple. I like the color purple. It's the color of royalty. So I'm basing all my shit around being purple everything. Purple bike, purple outfits.
I mean, at one point in time, this guy called himself the symbol.
Yeah.
The ego on that guy. But the way they did Purple Rain, though, they didn't do it where they gave you like a timeline of events of what was happening. Like you would have thought it took place within a week.
Yeah. You think this is wow, Prince had a crazy
Yeah, he had a crazy week. Yeah. And then Apollonia, she's a fast little floozy. Prince takes her card off the wall. I guess calls her up at the hotel. They meet that same day. She hops on the bike, rides off with him. Doesn't know him from hole in the wall, but rides off with him to a vacant park.
like a waterfront park.
Yeah, waterfront park by themselves. And then
This is how people get killed.
seriously, I mean, like, how do you just run off with a strange guy like that? And then he tells you to jump into Lake Minnetonka, which this happens not to be Lake Minnetonka. This is actually just some stream that he brought.
Topless. Well, actually, all she had was panties on.
Well, she had on a leather. She had on all leather, so she couldn't get that wet.
Yeah,
you know what I
don't
mean?
want to get leather wet.
So she was just like, "All right, I'll go topless in." I mean, I like that gumption.
Yeah,
See, girls don't have that vigor. She wanted something, came and got it
she said, "I want to be a star, and if I have to jump
by any
in cold
means.
water
By any means, I want to be a star.
in front of this man with this beautiful purple bike,
And this luxury and this very just voluptuous hair.
and like, how big was that bike? That's what I want to know. Because Prince is 5'3", so was that bike like a scooter size, and he had it souped up? Like,
It had to be because I mean, it looks like it's like a big time Harley, but when you look at him, it's like, oh, there's no way because he's whipping it around like it's a.
there's no way he can hold that.
He's whipping it around like it's a YZ8. Makes her jump in, tits out.
Nice rack too.
Very nice set. Yeah, she was really listen. That Apollonia.
The 80s movies for guys always had to have like a tit scene in the 80s.
Always. You weren't interested unless it
Yeah,
had.
they're like, oh, we need tits in this part. This movie's getting a little slow. It's dragging.
If we're gonna do a love scene, we're gonna need some tits.
So Morris and Jerome, they're just plotting on this guy, trying to figure out a way to get him out because they know he's a threat. They're hating on him. They know he's talented. They know he's way better than them, but they want to be the stars at First Ave. So they're just trying to figure out a way to eliminate him because only 2 bands could be at the place at once. They say, so they want to come up with a girl group, like starring the new girl that just walked in the night before, the beautiful girl Apollonia.
Who I guess everybody realizes that. I mean, other than her beauty, I mean, they're really going off of beauty. I don't think any of them actually heard her. They're just going off how good she looks. So Prince wipes her up immediately. You know what I mean? Just off of
Just got to town.
GP.
You're mine now.
So he sees her sitting with Morris and gives her a little personalized song about how much she's in love with pretty much her. You know what I mean? He stares her down and tells her how much he's in love with her.
Yeah.
Same night, brings her back to the house after the show. I mean, that's how you really pull a chick, though.
Yeah.
You pull her earlier in the club, take her out for a nice little motorcycle ride. Hey, then I want you to come back. I want you to watch me perform. I'm going to sing a personalized song pretty much to you, make you cry a little bit, tell you to meet me after the show, bring you back to my house, show you how uh, my I'll let you look in the window as my parents are, are uh, having foreplay. I guess a couple candles lit. They had foreplay.
That's where he got the candles from. Well, he got
Oh,
the
you're
candles
right.
from his dad. Then he got out of his room.
His dad was big on candles.
Well, he was in a dimly lit basement, so you had to had to get that moldy smell out. Probably. Hopefully, they were scented candles.
He was an abusive. No, they look those cheap red shits. He was an abusive. Pops was an abusive man that did believe in candles, though, but he knew how to light a scene.
The guy wanted his house clean at all times.
You talk. Yeah, if there's one thing I learned from this movie is that Princess Pops loved his house to be clean. Yeah.
Yelled at the mom every scene the father was in. I need it clean.
Every time he hit her, it was basically because the house wasn't clean. It was like she really. Now that I think about it, maybe it was her fault a little bit.
I don't know.
I mean, he just wanted a clean house.
In 1984 times, it was definitely her fault, even if it wasn't. 2019.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Old Francis might have been wrong. Well, Francis might have wanted to sweep up himself a little.
Yeah. Very true. He might have split those chores 50-50.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So the girls in the group, Lisa and... I forgot the other one's name. But
Wendy and Lisa.
Wendy and Lisa, yeah, they make a song, and their whole... They have their... It's funny, this is the other story within a story, how the two girls in the group wrote a song that they wanted him to play. And he, totally is dismissive of it. He even has a little puppet that he uses where he does the worst...
ventriloquism.
The worst ventriloquism I've ever seen before in my life. He just pretty much opens his mouth a little bit and somebody speaks for him, which is great. And then he tells them to lay off it many times.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a control freak. Like he's like a Tyler Perry. He wants to write. He wants to direct. He wants to do everything. Like, you gotta let some people work.
And he always believes that people are plotting on him behind him. He's very jealous, very uptight. You can't really give him any advice or criticism. Prince was, he knew who he was.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He was royalty, so.
Very true. So Morris and Jerome still, the whole movie, like their goal is to, once Morris finds out that he's with Apollonia, he wants to take Apollonia away. Not only wants to sleep with her, but wants to put her in the rival girl group that's going to eventually
push him out.
Push him
the
out.
Kid out. Yeah.
But she does not realize this necessarily.
She just thinks this is her shot to try to become a star. What I want to know is where the fuck was she from, and how did she think? Oh, I'm gonna just go to First Ave in Minnesota and.
Yeah. Well, why was that your quest?
Why not L.A.? I guess I don't know.
Right.
For the course of the movie, I guess she said, "Fuck it."
So why not New York?
There's a guy Prince there.
Well, wherever she came from, it did only cost her $37.50 to get there.
Well, it was 1984, $37.50 would have got you pretty far.
Yeah, you're right. True, very true.
That's
very
like
true.
spending $110 today. So she could have been from Oregon,
Very true.
From Portland.
Oh man.
Maybe from North Cali.
Yes. Prince also had his famed bodyguard in this, who you never seen leave his side. He played the bouncer at the club.
It looks like somebody from fucking Masters of the Universe.
Oh, definitely. He did. That's a perfect reference too. He definitely looks like somebody, one of the Masters of the Universe. Flash.
Looks like he has a giant sledgehammer that he wields.
Oh man.
And then the club owner looks like Al Sharpton did in the 80s.
Al Sharpton, at his exact same size, too. All he needed to do was grow out his perm a little bit more.
Slick it back a little bit more.
But I like his swag, too, with the tight gold chain, with the jumpsuits. He knew, as a big guy in the 80s, he knew how to dress to not make himself look so big. You know what I mean? He stayed in a lot of jumpsuits, a lot of velours.
Like to be comfortable.
Yeah, light jogging suit, a nice chain, keep a thin mustache, keep a clean face. Good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, my
He
God.
probably did his thing. Probably got like some of the girls there that wanted to get a little famous, whatever
Right.
Prince and Morris didn't get, probably fell to the owner.
I mean, you're the manager of First
You
Ave.
trying to get on stage or what? You trying to be somebody?
I'm pretty sure that's how those conversations go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was those old Barry Gordy conversations. You want to be a star?
Yeah. Nobody makes out of Minnesota unless you come through me.
I just love everything about the movie, though. Prince is just blind fury towards literally everybody at some point in time. I mean, there's no one that he is not mad at some point in time during this whole entire movie. And he reminisces all the time about, just Him and Apollonia they just go off wild places and have sex. And,
They had sex in a barn.
yeah, just some random barn, often by the
And everybody
lakes.
knows farms don't smell good, so
Yeah, Minnesota, a lot of farms and lakes, a lot of places to go and kind of just like have sex and chill.
it's amazing his motorcycle riding skills with heels.
I,
It's
you,
not easy to do. You can get caught on the back pedal, and you can really fuck yourself up.
I mean, amazing at it too. I mean, amazing at motorcycle and guitar. He was, I mean, supposedly, I guess, just a beast.
And loves to tear out. Loves to he can't just pull off. Prince has to tear out every single time. Has to tear out.
I don't know how much tires cost in '84, but boy, he must have been going through them because he literally, like you said, he burned out everywhere he went. But I also like the fact that Prince held up his like he never like compromised really. Like he held the same swag the whole movie. He never was
True artist.
very true artist. Yeah, I mean, but to walk around with that confidence all the time. I mean,
He said, if
couldn't
I'm gonna
imagine.
make it, I'm making it on my own terms. I'm gonna be the artist I want to be, not what you want me to be.
Mm, 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 mm.
Not making pop music. I'm making experimental rock music that will turn into pop.
And it was very hypersexual. Also, I mean, at one point in time, he has the other guitarist pretend like she's blowing him as he's playing guitar,
Yeah,
and he looking at the owner, knowing the owner is like, I don't want that.
he's a freaky little guy. Just felt bad for him. Like he really had a bad home situation, man.
I mean, literally every time he came
every
home,
single time he came home,
his mom was being beat up.
Had some great sex with Apollonia. Put on a good show. You come out, his mom is sitting on the stoop and just got
Leaking?
slapped around a little bit.
Every time, every day he would come home, his mom there was one day he came home where they were having foreplay, but other than that, she was getting smacked around for the house not being clean.
Yeah.
And as I look around the house every time, the house looks pretty clean.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what exactly he wanted, but it looked pretty clean to me.
Definitely didn't have a good home life, man.
Yeah, no, and he respected his father a lot too because his father and his mother both used to be musicians, but they talked about in the movie how his father pretty much his jealous and abusive ways ruined him and his wife's careers.
Yep. And then they created the biracial angel known as Prince.
Yeah, see, and I noticed a lot of the singers in Minnesota were biracial. Seems like even the other, I mean, even like Apollonia is biracial to some extent.
Yeah, she looks like she's something.
I mean, her name is Apollonia, so that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that was before they were giving black girls like weird names like that. She was like the original of the.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I should start it much later, but
Yeah, she was like, it was me, Shaka Khan. The Prince, though, this is swag. He would go up on stage, shirt.
blindfolded.
Shirt. No, it's not. It's not a blindfold. It's like panty, like material, and it's see through to some extent.
Probably one of the fans threw it at him. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna put this on my face."
Ooh, I like it.
He's like, "Oh, it's still got some little fish smell too." Good old '80s Bush.
You were telling me before, like a little behind the scenes, that he pretty much had his way with all the chicks on set.
Yeah, pretty much had sex with pretty much every woman in the movie.
I mean, I can't blame him or them.
Look how short he looks compared to the guy next to him. He had the guy on the left. Look at that.
He was just chiseled too, and then not chiseled, but
he probably wasn't gaining weight, bro. He was probably eating like Michael. Michael was eating ice cream. He wasn't gaining weight, dancing around and playing music all day.
And then making them, like you said, making them practice 8 hours a day, in real life.
That's sick. But those are the guys who make it, man. They got that psychotic drive. It's like the athletes, like guys like Kobe, who just play until they make themselves great. That's what Prince did. You got to be to get that good on a guitar. You have to put hours and hours of practice in.
Some people just start young, so I always figure oh yeah, you started playing when you were 4. You should be good by now.
The guys that become the greatest, like Clapton and Prince and
Hendrix. Yeah.
Those guys put in hours a day.
Crazy.
Like he wasn't. I'm sure Prince missed out on a lot of high school parties, practices of guitar.
I mean, he made up for all of the high school puss that he missed right after that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm pretty. He must have. I think he might have been a rock star in high school too. Just kind of like they all had to know that he was.
He was pretty sheltered. He ended up, he's a Jehovah's Witness.
True, right.
Wouldn't let him go a lot of places. So that's probably where he got a lot of that sexual repression. And Obviously, he wasn't going out, so he had time to practice music.
Yeah, very
So
true. Very true. Yeah. So I mean, it was a push and pull. I mean, really, the movie circles around Apollonia a lot too, because there really was a push and pull with her the whole movie. She went with Morris because after she told Prince that she was going to go to the all girls group with Morris, Prince then very aggressively smacked her all the way down to the ground.
yes,
Right after she bought him a guitar, mind you, right after she sold some gold bracelet and then bought him a uh, Snow White guitar.
maybe he is like his father.
Yeah, maybe right. I think he just wants to see doves cry
Yeah,
because
but he slapped the dog shit out of her.
yeah, it was kind of instant too. He had a little bit to think about it, and he did it.
It's so crazy when you look back at some of these old movies. Like,
Who doesn't get hit? What chick doesn't get hit
it's
in the
like
'80s
every
movie?
movie a girl gets slapped, and that was just like a common thing back then.
And then you have sex with the guy before and after you get popped, and you always love him more in the end.
And she just shakes it off. She gets slapped like really hard, goes down, and she's just like, "Get away from me for a second."
She just had to gather
No cops
herself.
were called. Nothing.
Yeah, it was just it was an argument.
It's like, oh, maybe I had that coming. That's 80s mentality.
Oh man, and the bond grew stronger.
It's nuts.
Uh, but Prince, he took his emotions on stage for every, and for every song that he did, it was really all based off of how he was feeling at the time.
Yeah. If he had a bad day, everybody wasn't going to get a good show that day.
Yeah, they were gonna get what Prince wanted to give you. I mean, that says a lot about you. You get what I give, and then the owner of Fifth Ave tries to get rid of him multiple times and telling me like he believes in Prince actually, and he tries to like listen, do what I play the hits, do what I tell you to do, and you'll be a star.
Yeah, he keeps telling him, he's like, stop bringing your personal shit on stage. This is not the place for it. This is a business. Here to make money.
Yeah. Then eventually Apollonia gets tired of it and she goes with Jerome because Jerome is going to give her a real chance with the girls group. They go. It's funny how sexualized women were at this time because these girls are singing on stage at one point in time. Straight lingerie, and people are throwing money up there.
Yeah.
People are throwing dollars up there, trying to actually hand them money as they're singing.
Prince is in the background just looking. He doesn't like this shit at all. He's like, this is a cheap way to make it. This is a cheap way to make it. I don't like it.
Jerome just the constant antagonizer. Never stops antagonizing. The whole movie, even the whole movie to the very end. Never even once gives Prince his hey man, I was wrong. You
never heard him say, yo Prince, you killed it tonight.
Right.
Good job.
A little something of like a homage to what I was a little hard on you.
Like we're on the opposite team, but you killed it tonight, bro. Good shit.
A little high five.
There was none of that.
It was never friendly. It was always malicious.
Victoria's Secret outfits, basically. These bitches are on stage.
Crazy. And then makes it so bad. He told them it was like, I need a clean show. I don't want a lot of sexual stuff. So he wanted the girls to kind of tone it down a little bit. But he was as soon as he saw them in lingerie, he was like, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, that's gonna pack them out.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's definitely gonna pack them out. They definitely had a packed house that night. I'm not gonna lie.
I love Morris.
The song wasn't too good.
I love Morris's car too. The yellow, what is that? That's not a Cutlass. It's
big old yellow boat.
Yeah, but that yellow boat he was rocking around, the window that didn't work, that Jerome had to tap just to make sure it got down.
He thinks he's Fonzie.
Well, you couldn't. I mean, but being that big in your hometown, though, I get that. You are a celebrity, really, when you're that big in your own town. You just in your own town.
Yeah, definitely.
So Morris takes her out after the show.
Tries to get it drunk. He's trying to act like he's drunk. He's doing a fake waddle. Like, I feel it. Do you? Oh, you feel it yet?
Got the flask out there. Jerome got the car parked in the back. Actually, he told Jerome to take off for the night.
And now she's still in lingerie. She's just walking around in lingerie with a little overcoat, but still got panties and lingerie on.
Stumbling to the car. Prince isn't having that, though. Because Prince was at the show. So he comes out on the bike, aggressive, as normal.
Yep. All 5'3" of him.
And kicks Jerome into a pile of garbage, which I love. As Gerona's doing his mock sex pumps.
It scoops his lady. He comes out of the smoke, out of the shadows.
You just hear the
Of a
motorcycle.
Minnesota alley. Very clean alley, by the way.
And a lot of dark alleys in Minnesota that you could just, that had like come out to an entrance somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like a New York City alley goes into a dead end, but Minnesota alleys lead you right out.
He came out like Batman.
Coats look like capes.
He came out like Batman, ready to save his girl. So he scoops her up. Oh no, he didn't scoop her up.
Well, he does a drive-by. He kind of giving her a little taste of the action so he can turn around.
Oh, there he goes.
Tells her, get on.
And when Prince tells you get on,
you get on. You do it. You do what Prince tells you to do.
She gets on the purple bike, grabs his purple torso, and rides away.
But why wouldn't you run off with the guy who recently didn't believe in you and smacked the shit out of you? Why wouldn't you run off with him instead of the guy who got you a gig, got you a little wasted, and was about to bring you home and have a good time? Like, I don't understand what was the problem? Morris gave you everything you really wanted. He didn't hit you. He gave you an opportunity, and you guys were having a good time.
Prince doesn't even want her to perform. Prince is like, we're just gonna have sex in bars. Prince did a lot of fucked up shit to her. Like, made her go in the water, slapped her around, told her he didn't want her in this world.
Right, and then he takes her from a perfectly...
He just wanted his house clean too, I guess.
Everybody wants a clean house. Let's see, at this time, though. But then, so he takes her from that situation that she was perfectly fine, and it wasn't like she was in distress, like Morris was raping her or something like that. They were having fun.
Yeah, she was before it.
So he sweeps her off to some under the bridge number where he just starts tonguing it down and making out, and then she eventually she's like, you know what? As a matter of fact,
this is not all I do.
Yeah, right. That's not something that you just get to, fuck from time to time and, have your way with. She's trying to tell Prince, like, I want to live my life, my best life.
See, you think back on it, Morris really fucked up because if he had Jerome with him, Jerome could have.
Oh, Jerome would have. Oh man, he would have washed Prince up. So she's a little drunk. Starts drinking again. Prince does not like alcohol. Prince. I just realized that Prince does not drink during this whole thing, nor does he like chicks that drink. So he smacks the flask out of her hand, then
ready to knock the living shit out of her.
Yeah,
catches himself.
No, but only after she hits him, he mushes her all the way down to the ground, gets on top of her, and instead of her covering up, she's like, you know what, do it. Antagonizes him. You know what, do it. Go ahead. Show me how big of a man you are. And then Prince catches himself. He's like, I don't want to be like my father.
Nope.
But you already did hit her one time, and you mushed her really hard down to the ground, which is kind of like a hit.
Prince is abusive.
Very abusive. I mean,
bandmates, verbally
abusive.
With his women, he's physically abusive.
Condescending, aggressive.
He's probably just grumpy. Fucking high heels will annoy you after a while if you walk around him all day. I'm sure. I've never tried it, but I'm sure it's not comfortable.
But when you have, I'm pretty sure he's like a size 5 foot. I mean, like his sneaker size is a size 5. So maybe, it doesn't matter that much for him, but wearing upper thigh-high boots all the time, I mean, how do you even...
Well, later on in life, he did have to get a hip replacement, and they said it was from all the dancing around and jumping off speakers.
Yeah, but even in this movie, he jumped off of a 6-foot speaker and did a split in the middle of the air, landing onto high heels.
Those boots don't really provide the proper ankle support and traction for those moves.
Yeah, they are not Jordans. Yeah, he should have did those in Easy Spirits or something.
So after the argument, he returns home. Sees the door ajar.
And once again, his father has put his hands on
his house was not clean.
Once again, the house wasn't clean.
It was really bad this time. And there's glass everywhere. Books flew everywhere. There's papers everywhere. He goes downstairs to approach his father. And as soon as he flicks on the light,
bang!
Pops himself.
Yes, Pops had a little handgun, a little 5-shooter, a little 6-shooter, and one to the dome, tried to take himself out. I guess he finally got tired of the house not being clean and having to reprimand the missus about it to the point that he just said, I'd rather take my own life.
And the craziest part about it, the cops put a chalk outline around him with the gun, a chalk outline with the gun, and he didn't die.
He's not.
They took him away in a stretcher. They took him away in a fucking stretcher. He was fucked up. Yeah,
Right.
you shot yourself in the head. He's never gonna be the same again, obviously. But
The movie
I guess
ends.
the afro caught some of it because he's still moving.
The movie ends with him in a coma. Like he never
Yeah.
dies. Like,
Yeah.
like,
But they did a whole chalk outline of him, and then lifted him up. So that means when the EMTs first rushed into the basement, they're working on him. And there's some guy just choking around him. It's very, very confusing.
you're right. And the chalk job was so good that you knew it took time.
Yeah.
But,
It wasn't. It was very neat. Very neat.
and there was no blood on the floor, mind you. Also, so
Oh shit!
not a drop of blood on the floor.
Afro absorbed it. It's like it absorbed the bullet. That's why it stayed alive.
So I'm thinking either the handgun was too weak. So Prince goes into a panic after seeing the chalk outline on the floor.
And they just left it in there.
They just left
How are you
it.
supposed to sleep with that? You just stared like
Yeah, so
he starts to envision himself killing himself.
because he looks over at a rope that he has hanging on the ground. And then he envisions himself hanging from the rope with a hangman's noose. I'm just going to tell you right now, that wasn't enough rope to make that hangman's noose that he
Yeah.
put up there. You know what I mean?
Then he starts just messing with all his mom's canned goods, just smashing
His mom,
jars and pickled fruits.
his mom had about 15 jars of pickled beans and fruits and berries and stuff that Prince just ruined. Very selfish guy. Once again, now who's going to clean all this shit up?
His mom, because she knows better. I was like, hell, Lord. A father would walk in with a bandage on.
He said,
Roll over your foot in his wheelchair. Like,
He's
clean.
like, my house isn't clean again. He's like, again, the house isn't clean. He said, what do I have to do? I shot myself in the head because I couldn't stay in this house not being clean. And I got to come home to it and I got to clean again.
So he, he goes through his little episode, knocking stuff down.
His 5'3" tantrum.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's breaking stuff all in his little basement room, and he discovers his father's songs.
His father told him originally that he did not write. That it was, he said, after hitting his mom, I think 2 days ago, and Prince walking upon his father playing the piano, Prince's father informs Prince that, Prince was like, oh, can I see some of your music? He says, no, I don't write my music. He was
He thought he was Jay-Z.
Right.
I don't write anything down. It's off the dome.
me and you are different,
So
boy.
Dad lied. Dad's a fucking liar. And
An abusive liar.
he wrote everything down. He had music notes. It was beautiful. It was very neat. And, he had everything organized. And Prince was just going through his tantrum, threw it up. And now he's trying to organize them and put them together. And see, basically he's probably like, hey, my dad ain't going to use these songs.
Yeah, right, exactly,
So
exactly.
Let me make some hits.
In my eyes, should have got some permission. I feel like before he went out there and just started blabbing like that, his father was pretty big on, order and, tradition. I don't know
Did Prince in real life steal his father's music? Did Prince's father in real life actually shoot himself? Is this real? I don't know.
Next time on The Twilight Zone.
Made an entertaining movie, though.
Yeah, very entertaining. I mean, Prince then finds some resolve in, after his father shoots himself. And mind you, the mother, perfect time to leave, doesn't.
No.
Perfect time to kick rocks. Still stays around. Stuck by his side the whole time that he was in the hospital, in a coma. She's asleep. Like they cut to a scene where she's asleep laying on his chest, as he's in a coma. It's like, touching, but it's like, this is the time to go. I guess 80s women, they did stick around. I give them that. I guess divorce must have been real low in the 80s, boy.
Oh, no, yeah.
People didn't get divorced. You were together. You know what I mean?
People get divorced now for a fight. Just
Sure,
like that. Like
yeah,
the first fight, they're like, okay, this is over.
Yeah, like this isn't going to work out. Yeah.
Back then, it took you at least a few years of beatings to
then if you
decide to run.
But in the 80s also, I remember, who was it? I remember Eddie Murphy had that funny thing about not wanting to wind up in the front of the National Enquirer, with half your shit taken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Broke.
So they go back. The scene takes back. It goes back to First Ave. And Morris Day is putting on a hell of a show. There's people dancing around in the crowd.
Everybody's doing the bird,
Yeah.
literally.
This is where Coco Beware got a lot of his dance moves.
And you were telling me before throughout the whole movie that Morris had not the movie, but his whole life Morris had a bad cocaine habit.
Yeah, he liked the booger sugar, and that kind of derailed him.
But you can even see in a couple of scenes where he had just done a couple of Hollywoods and
you can see in his eyes he's a little tuned up at a few times.
yeah, especially the scene, one scene in particular where we were talking about before when he's originally trying to get Apollonia and he comes up supposedly a little tipsy, but not though, because he was really just at the bar hanging out with a few girls, and then he comes over and all of a sudden, from one scene to the next, he has this look in his eye of
dilated pupils.
Yeah, it's like, I just want to lick your lips. He's like, anybody ever tell you?
My bed is made of brass.
My
home is so exciting.
I never normally put all my cards on the table like this, but I'm going to make you want me. Oh, man.
But like I said, they're putting on a hell of a show.
I mean, it's rocking. The house is rocking. Yeah, this is like if you can imagine the House of Blues. Have you ever been to a concert at the House of Blues when somebody's really killing it? Because it's a small venue, but everybody's killing it.
The walls are rocking.
Yeah, everybody's moving.
People are into it. That's what's going on now. They got people dancing. A very diverse crowd that's always at First Ave.
The most diverse.
That's why there's all these mixed kids there. That's why, holy shit, I figured it out. First Ave is like a biracial breeding ground.
I mean, I can't believe how just everybody in the crowd looks. You got people with makeup on.
Yeah, they express themselves.
So it's like, I guess we were talking about, this is what society is trying to get back to. If you look at the crowd in Purple Rain, society is trying to get back to this.
Yeah, history repeats itself, man. Really, everything's cyclical. Like, you see a lot of the fashion stuff in this movie. Some of the things are coming back. Some of the haircuts I actually see, and you can be like, whoa, was that guy from 2019?
Like, time machines are real.
So after Morris kills it, he walks through the hallway. They're going past the Prince and the Revolution's dressing room, and they're chanting, they're mocking the Revolution, saying "Let's go crazy, let's get wild," all this stuff. And now, granted, Prince's father is in the hospital from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and he walks by and goes, "How's the family?"
And everybody starts dying laughing and walks by the room. I mean, the most cold-blooded.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That's definitely rough.
I mean, but I love the fact that he walks by the room first to come back to say it.
It's crazy.
And then Jerome with his head down at the bottom, just giggling with a cigar in his mouth. I love it. I love it.
Fucking, but he knows, you see him he lets the rest of the group walk ahead, and he goes on a wall, and Morris, you can see that he didn't mean to say that. He knows he's being a dick. And he rubs his nose a little bit, so it gives me more of an inkling that...
To let you know, he had just done some...
He just some booger sugar. And he's like, maybe I should have did that extra bump. That was pretty vicious. This guy's dad's in the hospital.
Right. But the show was too good. The show must go on.
It's crazy.
So Prince finally, they're stewing in the room. Morris walks by, says his piece. He picks up his guitar. He heads out on stage with this purple light. It looks almost angelic.
I just noticed he has like a leopard guitar strap too. I've noticed that before.
The leopard print in this movie was, they were pushing that hard.
Very hard.
And those frilled pirate shirts that he was still pushing. That's a shirt from Seinfeld. The frizzles, the frilled shirt that she wanted.
I'm definitely gonna put my son in one of those for Halloween one year. I'm definitely dress him up as Prince one day. But
you could just bring it back. Next time you're out in the club scene, you bring that back. You come out with that. They'll let you in.
I don't think they make those in my size.
I think it's just a chest plate. I don't think it's a full shirt. I think it's just a chest plate. You just put it on
underneath.
The
shirt on. Remember?
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I think you could just probably get just a chest plate that goes up.
I'm sure.
It just goes over. And the biggest thing with the fashion in the movie is it must have been expensive.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. I feel like a lot of people had to make or design their own clothes. I don't know how they pulled this off because some of this stuff, it looks like Versace.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is
it's like homemade Versace.
This is
how they did it.
Very expensive get-ups with a lot of accessories.
Yeah.
Tons of accessories.
A lot of gold, too. A lot of people had gold. I guess people weren't getting their shit snatched in fucking Minnesota, too much.
He had a little diamond even if it was costume jewelry, like his little diamond bracelets and stuff, if you wouldn't pretend that they were costume jewelry, costume jewelry still cost money.
Yeah, it's not free.
And when you see a Prince's home...
How much were these guys getting paid?
That's what I'm saying. Is he paying? Was the owner of...
They're packing that shit out, man. That's a lot of money.
And you got but you got 7 people in the group.
Oh yeah, you got.
You know what I mean?
Prince
Like,
gotta get a bigger percentage.
I understand,
I'm sorry,
but
drummer, but yeah, I like that bass line he did, but I'm writing all this shit. That's why he didn't want to fucking give them writing credit.
seriously, because but all the songs are based off his emotions and shit. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy.
but he comes out at the end of the movie. He comes out and he just he comes out with Purple Rain, and it's the song that the girls wrote that he had been constantly telling them that he's not going to perform. Lay off of it. I'm tired of you asking me to do your music. We do my music only. That's it. It's Prince's world, the kid, and he finally does it to his father's. I guess they want to portray that his father wrote Purple Rain, and they did the background, the song.
Yeah, they came up with the fucking music for the background, and basically they would get executive producer credit on the song. But
Right.
They made a hit. He should have let them write some more shit.
No, listen, it's good, right? Because it was slower than normally. All his
Yeah.
stuff was, sex.
But he comes out and he performs it. He lets them know as soon as they get out there. As soon as he gets out there, like, I'm doing Wendy and Lisa's song. Shouts them out, gives them a shout out in front of the crowd.
They look at each other with that nostalgia of like, girl, he's finally gonna let us do it.
And he proceeds to put on the show of shows, one of the best performances of a song in movie history.
You could say he made the guitar cry. I think that's how they.
Yes,
he made the guitar cry. But he murders it, then storms off stage.
Because he thinks they don't like it.
Thinks they don't like it.
He's like, fuck.
Everybody was just in awe, really. I think everybody was just in a state of shock and awe.
Yeah, if you were at that show, I hope you guys saved your ticket.
Oh man, because it looks like they really just perform live music in front of people every single night.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man.
And the owner gives them the like head nod of approval,
He's
like this is what you should have been, kid.
He's like, yeah, this kid's fucking out of here. He's out of here after this.
Because he just put on the whole time though he's getting like just a round of applause. Storms out, runs into the back, goes right to his purple motorcycle, which is always ready and raring to go in the back door that nobody seems to fuck with or bother.
He's ready to turn it on, and then he realizes the crowd's not making noise at him. They're cheering him, not booing. They're cheering him.
And
they want more. They want an encore. They want more Kid. They want more Prince.
And Prince, so self-centered, so self-involved, that as he's coming down this very long hallway, crowded with people on both sides, he stares down Apollonia, gives her the stare down with the sexy eyes and the pouty lips, and he just walks right into her field of vision, lets her come up to him and like whisper a little, like probably, come and see me after the show, and really sorry about it.
On a beat after the show, so.
Right, and then she kisses Prince on the lips. Prince does not move his actual lips. He kind of just tilts his chin up a little bit without actually giving any emotional, real kiss.
Never showers after the show before they make love either.
Always sweaty too.
Pretty musty.
Right, never a shower.
Who am I kidding? Prince doesn't smell. Probably smells like potpourri.
He smells like sex all the time. I guarantee it. It's just his pheromones are just constantly jumping off of his body, and women just walk by him.
What cologne is that, pussy?
Yeah, right. But it's that stank that women can smell when you haven't had sex in a while. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that attraction to you. Like Prince constantly has that. Like it's like golly, like it's just his musk.
Badissi.
Badissi.
My new cologne I'm coming at.
Badissi. Ooh.
We're gonna sell it in Caldor. This is the
80s. You get it at a Cheap John's near you. Oh man! And I love the way he had the pants with the not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons coming up the crest with the Zorro waistband. He didn't do belts. Prince was not a belt man, but he did do silk.
Everything's custom fitted.
He did silk. Like an 80s waiter would wear, a silk waist belt, I guess.
Yeah, he looks like a bottle service girl.
Right, exactly. That's what he looks like. He serves bottle service at any at Studio 54 at the time.
His clothes it's like a mix of bottle service girl, Shakespearean shirt, and I don't know, like Zorro.
Zorro, right? And Zorro. Oh man, yeah, he does look like his. If his mother was Grace Jones and his father was Zorro, it would make a lot of sense.
But he definitely he definitely put on a good show for this movie. For this movie, man. He
What would you say about his acting?
I think his acting was okay. I feel like he does a lot without saying much.
Right, it's all facial expressions, posture,
it's a lot of in the eyes.
Yeah.
But I think he was trying to play somebody like himself. Like he wanted to play himself. Like I'm a weirdo.
I think he fully played himself. Yeah, I think this was. I don't think this was no character. I think this was. I'm gonna be me.
Like I'm a weirdo. I yell at my bandmates. I make them practice for 8 hours a day. Like
I hit my women.
Yeah, he slaps his girl around. Even the days when they buy him nice fucking things.
5 minutes after a guitar, a chick, she just bought you a guitar.
It's crazy.
She's trying to get into a band and doesn't have much money. Sells her last trinket that means something to her to buy you a guitar, and you repay her with slapping her all the way down to the ground.
That's Prince, man. He was a complicated guy.
And then she climbed out of his window because she didn't want to go through the front door.
He dealt with a lot. He's from an abusive household. He could have turned out a lot worse. He could have been in prison right now with high heels on.
Very true. I'm pretty sure he'd been a nice little prison treat. That little light-skinned gumdrop.
They would have been loving him.
Guy could dance his ass off too. I mean, we're just watching some of the dance moves now. I mean,
splits, and then he just looks at the screen,
twirling and just sexing himself.
Look, and then does that famous Prince that gif you see on the internet where he's
that shimmy,
gyrating and going down the stage, lifting his hands up and down.
Oh man,
how did he come up with that, man?
But that's how in your own head you got to be of how much you think of yourself to even attempt to do something like that.
Like that right there.
And then then he shakes his butt wildly. Oh man, he
goes in front of the smoke and just free. All 80s movies had that freeze frame part.
Right, where there'd be a light behind you with a fog, and then your shining moment. Yeah, your shining moment.
Just freeze frame.
Yeah,
that's the 80s right there.
Oh man!
If I ever do a TV show at the season finale every year, I want to do a freeze frame.
Oh, I would love to do an 80s TV show shot with like that 80s vision though, like with an 80s camera and just kind of do like all the shit we used to do. Like I would say early 90s, an early 90s show would even be better. Oh man!
But he comes back in and gives the encore, and he's doing Prince things.
The whole place is rocking. It's filled to the gills. Everybody's happy. They still never gave a little just the tip of the cap.
No. You see them in the side. You see them looking a little bit, right?
Right. Actually, they might tap their foot. Right. Yeah, they do tap their foot. Yeah. Right. Yeah. True.
Like he's got it.
Oh man, what a great movie though. Yeah. Love this movie. They made a second one, Purple Rain 2, no?
Was it Graffiti? No, Under the Cherry Moon or some shit like that? Or Graffiti Bridge?
Graffiti Bridge.
Yes.
The name.
No, but Under the Cherry Moon's another one that he did.
But what was but the other one had him and Morris Day in it though. Again.
Yeah. But Under the Cherry Moon, I remember, was terrible. But Graffiti Bridge is okay. But it's no Purple Rain. Don't get shit twisted.
I mean, this is as far as my 80s movies go, this is my top 10.
Oh, yeah. This is
That's top 5. I would say this probably be in my top 5.
It's one of the most rewatchable movies.
Right.
You can jump in.
Because you can always catch a piece that you didn't see, or, it wasn't that it had so many layers to it. It's just hilariously 80s also. But this movie is a must see for anybody who didn't see it. You got a Saturday, you got a late night, and you want to kill some time. You're like, oh, people always want, what's a good movie on Netflix or something like that? What you need to go find is Purple Rain.
It's one of those movies that
because it's almost a chick flick too, to some extent.
Yeah, but it's a guy flick too because they have titties popping out and stuff. But,
oh no, they had it was definitely a lot for guys in here.
Yeah, I guess there's something for everybody. When you see a man on stage take a microphone and stick it through his legs and cross over like it's a fucking basketball,
flawlessly. Also, I mean, he people don't know how. I mean, I don't even know if mic stand presence is a thing, but he has it. Jesus.
The amount of the speed that he does it with, he looks like he's a very quick guy.
Oh yes, so we were talking about before, when Chappelle said that he played in basketball before. You could see it.
Yeah,
you can see a 5'3" guard out of Minnesota.
Definitely see the moves.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah,
the movie ends, Prince in the freeze frame, and that was the end of a classic movie. But Keith, I want to just ask, who do you think had the most underrated performance in the movie?
If you didn't know, I mean, the father played a great part as far as like.
I was gonna put him as the overacting. I was gonna put him as the overactor of the movie. So I feel like
I wouldn't say he overdid it.
He went too hot. He went too hot. I feel.
I just feel like they should have changed his lines up a little bit from everything being about how clean the house needed to be. Because the mom, she played pretty good acting too, of just like a battered wife. She did. I mean, all her acting was battered wife.
Yeah.
I don't think she ever smiled one time in the movie. It was all, and she never came to any of Prince's shows or anything either, which is pretty wild.
I think Jerome was the underrated part of the movie.
I mean, I felt like he got his just due as far as like he killed it. For every time that he was in it, he killed it. Yeah, Jerome didn't have any boring parts.
Years later, when I got older, I just found his part fucking hilarious.
Oh no,
why wasn't this guy in more movies?
Oh, he should have been. I mean, he was not Eddie Murphy funny because of the voice, but he was, as far as like '80s funny goes, I mean, top notch. Like
he killed it.
Timing. He had great timing. Everything was timing with Jerome. Like,
I think the weak link of the movie was probably Apollonia. Like
her acting wasn't that good.
Her acting, she was hot.
She was hot.
Her acting wasn't that good. The song,
she didn't sing enough.
The song that she performed, like you were expecting like some big thing. Like they're not gonna kick Prince out for this shit. Are you crazy? Like yeah, they're hot. It was packed out, but how long does that last?
You're
After a while, you're gonna be like, all right, these are the same girls from last.
And that was at a smaller club than Fifth Avenue. That was at some little joint down the road or whatever that she had packed out, and really Jerome packed that out. You know.
I don't know.
Funny though. Funny.
But definitely a classic movie. Definitely a rewatchable movie.
Yeah, my favorite character is Jerome. No, Morris is my favorite character. Morris is my favorite character.
It's between Morris and Jerome. I guess you put them as like a team.
Yeah, you put them as a team because you take them out of this movie, it'd have been a boring movie.
Oh
it's a boring movie without
totally
them in it.
Different.
I mean,
totally different movie without the.
Then it's like an artsy fartsy movie.
Yeah,
it's
totally
some dry art movie after that. Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, at the end of the day, 4 stars. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. If anybody has kids when they get older, of course they have to be of age, but
it's rated R.
It's a good rewatchable movie to show. Like if you're like our age, you could show your kids a movie that you grew up watching and be like, check this out. This is what we watched. This is how we looked in the 80s.
Yeah, right. And there's not many lulls either. It's kind of, it just gets you from one place to the other really quickly.
It's like it's a concert movie.
Basically. Exactly. Yeah, it's a great concert
movie. It's a concert with a little bit of acting sprinkled in between some of the acts.
Exactly.
That's what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Purple Rain. And once again, it's the Golden Facts Podcast.
And we'll see you soon.
And like I always say every week, life is precious. Treat it like gold. Golden Facts Podcast. God bless.